We got a lurker. Who goes there? Who goes there, lurker? I see you. Oh, scared him away. Jeremy, maybe it was you. I think you were the first lurker. So I got a tip, Jeremy, earlier, or yesterday actually. My buddy stopped by and he said, Academy's doing clearance again. Okay. So had to go by FedEx, which is right by Academy. Ran in FedEx. FedEx to Eric his lure. So he can take it down to Florida with him. All right, all right, all right. Hey, what's up, Daryl? So got Eric his bait on the way. And swung in to good old Academy. And I was kind of throwing a curveball. Is there a spring sale, not even an actual sale? Well, that's kind of what I thought this was when I first got in there. So I saw these like four dudes standing around these little pillars in the middle of the aisle. And this is funny. I should have taken pictures of this, but it's literally all the shit we talk about being lame. So they've got like one, two or three of these little carts, and they've got baskets. They've got like 3, 6, 9. They've probably got 25 baskets, and they're priced from like $2.95, or it starts at like $3.95, $4.95, and like $6.95. And so I started digging through this stuff, and I'm looking at it, and like a Whopper Plopper's like $9.97 sale price. And I'm like, this is dumb. This isn't a sale price. So it's mainly, what's up, AJ? It is mainly like 80% Guggen stuff. Literally baskets overflowing with Guggen stuff. So I see that. I'm like, all right, that's no surprise. Bob, what's up? So I start digging around. What else do I find in bulk? Lunker Hunt, everything. Then I start looking around, and what else do I find? Like 12+1 fishing stuff. It's like, oh, good. None of your color, of course, AJ, or mine. But so anyway, I go walking around the store, and I come back through just to give it another browse. And when I do, there's like this little cart sitting next to the fishing stuff, and on the end cap of it, it's got like something in there that I don't want, like I don't know, like coolers or something, and they're clearance too. And it says on the end cap, it says take 50% off for a total of 75% savings off the sale price. Academy, AJ. So I start thinking, I said, well, damn, that changes things. Because the sale price that they had marked was only like $1 off or like $2 off, like the normal price. But then you take 50% off of that. Then I got excited. So I started looking around. I said, well, surely I could find something in here 50% off. One thing I thought about calling you about, AJ, was they had a bunch of those BOGO spooks. BOGO. I thought it was BYOB. I thought it was like bring your own beer. When I first saw them, I was like, what is this? What is this bring your own beer spook? Um, they had a lot of those, or not a lot, but they had a fair amount. Um, and they would have ended up being like, I don't know, $2 and some change. But Sean, what's up, dude? Um, Jeremy, they're good. I didn't know what made the Boyo or the Bogo or whatever it's called. I didn't know why it had that name, like what made it different. Um, they were in fact bios. Buy your own spook. Is that really what it is? Uh, I mean, they had paint on them. They were painted, but uh, 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 they were like clear bodied with like an insert, and then they had like a chartreuse orange head. But they had a fair amount of those. Um, but I only got one thing. I was taking those and every $5 plopper in the basket. Um, I can go back for you, AJ. They had little ploppers. They didn't have the big ones. They had little teeny ones. Um, they had what else? They had some. They had. I think I found two Chapos. They were like $4 or 4.50 or something, close to $5 a piece. Um, but I didn't see any big ploppers or medium sized ploppers. It was the little squatty ones. Um, Bob, that's. I hope you're being sarcastic because that's probably the last thing Marty would want. We need him here to tell you that. Did y'all see my Instagram story where we were testing last night for the live stream? Came in real good. Me and Burns talked for about an hour and testing the stream and testing his view for Saturday night. So if you have not gone and signed up for the Burns Patreon, do so. Come join us. It'll be fun. He will be carving a big Burns, big bait. Um, uh, but so back to Academy. Um, so I go to this one basket and I see what I'm looking for because from what I understand, these have been discontinued. And I see one for $3.97. The Hack Attack Select Series swim jig. And I don't think this is just a swim jig. I think you can pitch this jig. You can do whatever you want to with it. But what interested me about this jig was that it's an exclusive for Academy and it has the owner jungle flipping hook in it. So when the jungle hook came out, I thought to myself, I would love to be able to get this. I was talking to my buddy. I was like, I would love to have my swim jig redone and have it done with that damn jungle hook because it's heavy enough, but it's not too heavy. It's like perfect. And I said, I would love to have that done. Guy like me can't get jungle flipping hooks in volume. Strike King can. I don't. I mean, I could if I had the damn wallet, but I don't. So I don't have a Strike King wallet. So Hackney says he wants it. Hackney gets it. Um, so my buddy tells me, he's like, dude, they make that the Hackney jig at Academy's got it. And I was like, no shit. So I went and I didn't believe him, and I went and picked up the pack and I looked at it, And sure enough, it's like really small. Like if it were me and I were trying to market this, I would make it huge. It says it on the back. The jig is built around the owner jungle flipping hook. But anyway, so it's real small on the front. It kind of it's kind of small, so you don't really notice it. But anyway, so I see one of these. I was like, I wonder how many more they have. Turns out they had 50 more. So if you need Hack Attacks selects, your boys got them. 3/8 to a half. I bought the half ounces just because they were $2, and I figured for $2, even if I like wanted to, I could just melt the damn hook down. You know what I mean? Like melt the lead off of it and just take the hook and use it for something. But yeah, I got them all. It's a lot. It's a lot. But the thing about it is, I can't buy the hooks and make these for this cheap. So, and I don't prefer this sideways line tie, but I won't have to buy a swim jig again ever. They need to flip the letter size between Strike King and Owner Jungle. What? They need to flip the letter size between Strike. What does that mean, Kyle? I don't understand. So I got I don't know why these got discontinued. If they did, they're certainly awesome jigs, especially for $2. And the thing about them is they've got enough angle on the hook that you can. It's a riddle. I'm not good at riddles. They've got enough angle on the hook that you can pitch it fine, which is what I plan to do with the half ouncers. But I did get one other bait. It was $3. So probably end up painting this ugly ass hybrid hunter something that looks a little more appealing. But yeah, for $3 I couldn't pass that up. The other ones were this one was the only one marked $5.97. I guess they charged less because of how ugly it is. But the other ones they had in the bin were like $7.97, which they would only been $4. But I didn't. After I cleaned house, I kind of let myself. I didn't want to buy all these, but I was like, you know what, screw it. If I know if I don't want them all, somebody will. You know what I mean? And it like the skirt color did not matter to me. I can change the skirt out. Like I said, for $2, I can't make a swim jig with that hook that cheap, or any kind of jig, especially with a nice paint job on it. Take the 10-cent skirt off of it. But I am stacked to the gills on damn Hackneys. I look like I'm damn Greg Hackney over here. So exactly, Kyle. Yes, put Strike King over in the corner, and then just put on the front in big letters, "This is made with a jungle hook." Hayden, they're everywhere down here, dude. I'll still swim a I still swim a Mr. Twister double tail. I actually throw the four tail. I don't know what they call that, but I've been throwing that one since I was a wee little tot, a wee little bass tot. I would buy the four tailed grub. Um, so yeah, I don't know what color to paint this. I'll think of something beautiful and put it out there in the world. But yeah, Jeremy, I was never a fan of the Fat Albert. It seemed to like my issue with the Fat Albert was that it needed a lot of weight to, not a lot, but um, it needed to fall pretty fast to get it kicking good. Uh, if you swim a light jig, sometimes it doesn't kick great initially. Like it has to get like start going. Um, but Fat Albert is a good grub. I used to put that on my spinner baits back in the day. Hayden, I certainly will. I'll probably paint it and put it on the website. I used to swim that scrub a lot, the Kalen scrub. That was a pretty cool little swim jig trailer. I'm really not a twin tail grub fan on a spinnerbait. I prefer like a Zoom split tail. Hank Parker classic spinnerbait trailer, man's split tail, whatever they want to call it. That's my favorite. Adrian Avena is leading. How much weight does he have? So the only thing I've seen about that today was I saw Gary Klein post on Facebook. He said, I caught this 6-pounder and it moved you up into 12th. So you're only fishing against 20 dudes. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Or however, how many fish today? 30, 40? I don't know. 40? You throw the Fat Albert on a spinnerbait too, or a Yamamoto, just whichever I can find the right color. I like that tab tail. I don't know if they still make this anymore. That's my preferred spinnerbait trailer. But they make this, and it's got a little weird tail in the end. But I always like that grub. That thing kicked. But I got all kinds of little trailers. I never got into these, the swimming chunk. They look real good, but never could make that happen. Menace. I was thinking about that. Funny you mentioned that. I found a pack of half gone menaces in my stuff over there, and there was a pack of menace grubs in there, and I was like, man, that thing blew up for a while, and then it seemingly disappeared. Like people are like not as into the menace anymore, because I feel like there for a year or two, everybody's like, oh, the best. That's like the most fish catching bait there is. It's a damn menace, and it's a good trailer. It's good by itself. Like guys were going cuckoo over the menace, and then it just kind of died. I don't know if that was because somebody knocked off a mold of it and then started like all the custom pourers started putting fakies out there. I don't know if that killed the buzz. That's gotta hurt the market, dude. Really, like it's like probably back in the day it didn't make an impact, but like now when you've got 20 dudes in one Facebook group that's got 100,000 people in it, and they're all pouring like knockoff mini scrubs, like all those guys that are buying those are not going to buy mini scrubs probably. You know what I mean? Like they would have, but they didn't. Um, maybe not. Maybe that little. But you know what I mean? Like in the old days, if Mark Davis said the mini scrub is the shit, and I went to Table Rock and I caught 150 fish on it, all those guys would probably, you know, say 5,000 people heard him say that and went out and bought mini scrubs from Strike King. There might be another 2,000 that bought them off Facebook instead that just said, I'll just buy these. Uh, I don't know though. I would like to talk to some executive at Strike King and be like, does this affect you at all? And they'd probably be like, no. They'd probably say those people aren't going to buy our shit anyway. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I saw Pickwick in the fall. We throw that grub in the center of 4 Fat Alberts on Pickwick in the fall. Oh, you throw the on a rig. You put Fat Alberts all around it, and then you put the tab tail in the middle. Jeremy, I don't use anything Yamamoto. I own more Sapphire Blue Menaces than all Bass Pro Shops east of the Mississippi. Tyler, you like Sapphire Blue over just straight flipping blue? I'd like to get in a pitching contest with you. Me with flipping blue, you with Sapphire Blue, and go head to head. Heavy hitter is no limit, but get that the booked Caney Creek and Busy Break to be a 5-fish limit before the change. Caney and Bussy, not known, have shit tons of fish, but big ones. Huh. South Jersey, does it really surprise you though, dude? I mean, and I'm like, the thing about it is, I don't. I'm pretty much immune to any type of marketing. The only thing that changes my attitude is when uh, somebody wins an event on something, or I see somebody fishing something like near where I fish or similar to something I fish. Like if I see somebody on the Red River, because the Red River and the Alabama River supposedly fish very similarly. That's what I always heard back in the day, like in the 2000s when it was good. In the late 90s when it was good, that people that fished the Alabama River said that the Red River fished very, very similarly. Um, and so anytime I would watch those tournaments, I would look for stuff that people were doing that I might not necessarily try, and that would usually evoke some spending. Um, but like I think one that was really interesting is, and I don't know how it came to fruition, but it was interesting when KVD was on, what was he on, Grand, and he was cranking that brown crawl 1.5 or 2.5 or something. That was an interesting choice. Um, Like I didn't go out and buy a brown 1.5 because I can paint them, but stuff like that, just like out of the norm stuff. You're a sapphire guy. You like the flake. See, I don't like the flake. If I'm choosing jig trailers, I don't like flake. Uh, like specifically blue. Um, I don't care for that. Uh, I really don't like sapphire blue. Like black and blue trailer, it does not look right to me with a sapphire. And I've caught because I've got literally a whole damn trailer box full of sapphire blue, and I use them, but I just don't like the flake. I like the flipping blue better. It literally probably makes no difference, but that's the one I really don't like. There's the black with the blue flake. It irks me for whatever reason, or the black with red flake. I just don't like them. It does not look appealing. Grand 2018, correct. Morgan, did you go paint you some brown cranks and think you're KVD? Neme Beck's a good twin tail grub if you don't want to spend money on the Yamamoto's. Works just as good. Great on the finesse jig. That's another thing I don't do is I don't typically put a twin tail on a jig, like a football head or anything like that. I just don't like the way it looks. Which at the end of the day is what all that really matters. Never heard someone so picky about a jig trailer. Yeah, I get kind of bitchy about jig trailers, especially coming from a guy that literally only throws a super chunk. Um, Bob, you're still a pork guy? Name something he's not picky about. Very true. Very true. Yeah, I'm the most like non unpicky picky person you probably ever meet. Like I tell you nothing matters when in fact everything matters to me. But it's just for my own amusement, you know what I mean? Like deep down I could probably go catch the same fish on a sapphire blue super chunk. 100% could. Uh, I just don't like the way it looks. I think flipping blue looks better. Maybe if it was a different flavor, maybe if it was a different size, maybe if it was a different size flake. Maybe I just don't like the size of that flake. Um, Joseph nailed it. It is about confidence. It is like if I'm looking down at that jig every time I pitch it in a tree, and I'm like, that flake really looks like shit. I really wish I had flipping blue. Then the whole time I'm like thinking about the glitter more than I'm thinking about like what my jig's doing. Um, when I flip plastics, do I get picky? Mm, yeah, kind of. Like I've only got certain things I flip anyway, so it doesn't like it's not really that big of a deal. Um, am I a threader or a tipper? I am both. Depends on what I'm doing, and it depends on how gnawed on my trailer is. Usually, if I'm skipping, I'll thread it. Um, I use those. I use those Lure X jig slings from like the damn 90s. I had a bag of them somewhere. Y'all remember those? These things are great. The only problem with them is you would get a 4-pack for like $4. They were literally a Wacky Band O-ring, except they were $1 a piece, which I don't think made much sense. Oh, I didn't know that. Bryant's Custom Jigs. I was wondering why somebody didn't come out with them. I thought about it for a while. I was like, well, I could get these made for cheap. I don't know why I don't get these remade. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, they didn't work for those losers, so why would they work for me? And I've got enough that, you know, I don't need to have them manufactured. Chunk X sling, yeah, something like that. Because they had the Chunk X itself, which was a cool design, really cool design. I'd like to know what happened to that company because they had some pretty innovative stuff for their time. Green Pumpkin Blue Flash. You and AJ buying up all the Green Pumpkin Blue Flash. They did have a pack of Zoom worms that I hadn't seen before that I thought would be good for swimming. They were they had like the Z Crawl tail, but it was on like a Ultra Vibe speed worm body. If they would have been anything other than Green Pumpkin, I probably would have bought them. Green Pumpkin's just a little too boring for me. I never could. AJ also uses them to imitate crabs in Nebraska. AJ, are we going fishing this summer or what? Thread a beaver style bait and dangle a chunk. I caught a small piece of finesse worm on the shank of my chunk so they don't go up the shank. That's smart. The I used to get real snotty about my jigs. I would get the fly tying thread, and I would thread like a keeper on there to like hold my chunks up like halfway down the shaft. All kinds of shit, dude. I bought a few of those speed worms trying to try swimming, and I've lost them. Uh-oh. I do like some crab stuff. Use a bait keeper from Harmony or Zeppu. I never could get into to using. I know a lot of guys went through a beaver, sweet beaver when they first came out as a jig trailer, and I could never get into that. They never looked right, and it made my jig too bulky. I never cared for the profile and the bulk of. Like if I wanted my bait to fall right, I would have needed to pitch a like 9/16 ounce jig or like a 3/4 ounce jig with that big bulky beaver on there to get it to like fall right. If anytime I ever put one on like a 1/2 ounce jig, it always just kind of like slowed it down too much. But never liked the beaver in general. God almighty, dude, the fish I've caught on the damn sweet beaver. Phew. I'm telling you, dude. Oh, there was a guy that Tyler, that dude I was telling you about, Danny Smith from over there in Shreveport that I fished with. He had a very interesting jig thing set up for his trailer. He used a big salty chunk. And what he would do was he had a rattle that was like a cylindrical tube and it was metal and it had a BB in there or something. And the top was like smashed shut and then it had a hole drilled in it. And what he would do was he would put that in the bottom of the meat of the chunk and then he would run his hook through that and it would keep his chunk from coming off. It like reinforced his chunk, but it also was his rattle. It's pretty cool. Um, I don't know if they still make those anymore. Johnson adds rattles to his trailer. Calvin Johnson adds rattles to his rattles. I sent my rattles to Calvin Johnson to have him add rattles to them, and then he put a big black dot on the side. And then he put them inside of another rattle. He made my rattles are rattles. If that makes any sense. Instead of the BB being inside my rattle, it's another rattle. It's like those Russian little dolls that all go inside of each other. That is the Calvin Johnson jig rattle. My buddy used to throw the Smalley reaction beaver on a ball head jig in the winter and catch them good. I couldn't get into it. I'm a speed crawl guy. Speed crawl's good, dude. Speed crawl just catches them. And you can tell. You want to know how good the speed crawl is? Watch Scott Martin fish anywhere. Dude literally throws a damn speed crawl like 90% of the time on everything. Carolina rig, jig trailer, by itself. Like, dude speed crawls a lot. But South Jersey, dude, I know I've told this before, but for those who haven't heard, if you're still living under a rock and you've never fished a sweet beaver and are curious, or if you missed the sweet beaver craze. So when I was in college, this would have been 2002 to 2008. Yes, I was there, Van Wilder style, like Cheers. There was a store in Tuscaloosa called Woods and Water, and the dude there got Reaction Innovation sweet beavers in like 2003, maybe 2003 or 4, when they were still in Arizona, and he got them in. And he's like, "You tried these?" I was like, "No." He's like, "You need to. They're legit." So I bought a pack of sprayed grass and I bought a pack of penetration. 2 colors I still pretty much only use. And I went out and the river was up and falling, but it was up in the woods and it was falling out. And I went up in this damn creek and there was water coming out of the woods and it was just like current, like this, just the most beautiful light current seam behind the cypress trees that are on the bank. And usually the cypress trees would have like 6 inches of water on them and you might catch a fish like off the roots kind of a little bit, but they weren't like, fish usually didn't live around them because the water didn't get up high enough. Well, the water was up to where there was like 2.5 feet of water on the tree and it was coming out of the woods. And literally probably made 2 pitches with a and to clarify, the guy told me that he was the first person east of the Mississippi to have these baits. So I can 100% attest that nobody had ever thrown these like where I was fishing. Like a fish had never seen one. Um, and the first tree I pitched to, I got it by the tree, and it went, "Donk." Line just shoots off. It's a 4 pounder. I literally went down this like 20-yard stretch of trees and caught a 4 pounder off every tree. Like spots, largemouths, like didn't matter, dude. After that, like I had 20 pounds of fish in like 10 casts. Like it was insane. And and after that, dude, like everywhere I put that thing, like I didn't have to crank, I didn't have to do anything. Like all I did was pitch a sweet beef because literally if there was a fish living there, it would probably eat it. It was so weird. Like I'd never experienced anything like that before. Like you literally didn't have to fish anything else. Um, at the time, I was at the slinging store, wild eye swim shads, catching every tip fish that swam. The damn storm wild eye would catch them, dude. Still does. The only problem with the big ones is that they were too heavy. You have to drill them out. Um, when the deep bomb was new, we were busting their ass on gunners one summer. They were biting like things that could. Yeah, it's really wild when you get around a bite on a new bait that they've never seen. And it sounds so stupid, like when you hear guys say, "Oh, show them something they've never seen before." Like when it's real, it's real. Like that shit happens. The beaver is the only flipping bait you need. Andre nailed that one. He sure did. He changed the game. He changed the damn game. That was a game changing bait. And then he did it with the damn vixen. Which I don't know if the vixen was that much of a game changer. It's just a good bait. But the beaver changed the game. Um, JP, I never got into the Cinco. I still am not a Cinco guy. Um, Bob, what hook do you use? That's the real question. That's the real question any real tube fisherman will ask you. If you flip a tube, what hook do you use? Because at this point in time, that hook doesn't exist. The hook. Uh, and back then, like that's when like I hear people complain about EWGs and shit. Like when the Sweet Beef first came out, like I pitched it on a 4/0 superline or a 3/0 superline, EWG Gamakatsu. And dude, I stuck fish like there was no tomorrow. Like it didn't matter. Like there was not one time for like 5 years of flipping that thing that I was like, I need a new hook. This hook didn't. This hook's doing weird stuff. Um, I actually caught him 4/0 superline. Still the only one I use with a beaver. Beasley, you need to get in the boat with me, dude. We got the same gear. If you want to know the real beeb you need to be throwing, get on the Patreon and I'll tell you. Talk uses the super line with a beaver. How about that? I'd like to go through Talk's tackle. I flip a balsa crank most of the time. Nobody out there doing that. I actually do that quite a bit when I'm on the back of the boat with somebody. Doesn't seem to matter. The Depths Little Rabbit is a good beaver style bait, but you can turn it into a crawl bait as well or a flapper type bait. Just got to separate the tail. It's interesting. 2 for 1. 3-aught EWG wide gap superline. See, Jeremy, another man that says this hook is legit. I'm glad because I've got probably 800 of them over there. Seen him being sneaky with it on MLF a couple years back. You know what's wild is I'm usually too lazy. Like if I'm pitching down the bank or something, and then like I get somewhere to where I want to throw a worm, and say I'm pitching a beaver and I've got a 3-aught superline hook on it, and I'm like, you know what, I want to throw an old monster. I'll just take the beaver off, put an old monster on a little 3-aught hook, and the hook's like right here, and the worm like comes all the way down here. Dude, I probably catch them better like that than I do with a 5-aught or 6-aught or something that like fits the worm. For some reason, I feel like a small hook in a old monster gets them. Burns said if they ain't gonna bite a crankbait, they ain't worth catching. But I think it freaks people out, AJ. You know what I mean? I think if you show them a hook or a worm that's 11 inches long, and then the hook's only in the top third of it, they're like, nah, dude, you ain't gonna hook shit. Nah, actually, hook them better. Uh, I still rig about 1/8 ounce on the TW EWG finesse rig on a spinning rod. That sounds like a fish catcher. I used to put a 5-aught on anything I can fit it in, but now I put a 3-aught line. I think I hook them better. Yeah, I've still got a lot of 5-aughts. And I will use them for some stuff, but I don't feel slighted. Like I'm not like scared shitless if I'm throwing an old monster on a 3-aught superline hook. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't sit there and think, how am I ever going to hook a bass? I pretty much only use a 5-aught for super flukes. What you use the EWG superline or something else? Yeah, for the weight. God, makes you sound old, AJ. Makes you sound old. Do you tie a swivel up above so you can have your leader so your line doesn't twist and you get the extra weight from the swivel so it falls a little bit more? Like that's the tips that we used to have to grow up with. That seems so stupid now. But like back then, like in the 90s, 80s, 90s, like when you heard like Davy Hyde or whoever tell you to put a swivel on your floating worm so it sank a little more. What? It's like groundbreaking. Maybe it's because I was 12. Um, I never could get into a fluke because I always felt like I caught peons on it. I don't know that I've ever caught a 4-pounder on a fluke. I'm sure they're good in the fall, but it's not something I typically go with. it did spark my interest, the fluke, because one of those classics that they fished on the was either on the Red River or the Louisiana Delta or somewhere. Might have been the Red River, like one of the ones like maybe Skeet one or something. A lot of the guys were fishing a fluke in February, and that's not something I've ever fished in February for shallow fish. And I saw that and I said, I don't think and it's shit like that that tells you these guys talk, these guys get information. Because when you show up to the Red River, I don't think like it's too much of a coincidence when there's like five guys in the top 10 all throwing a fluke. It's just not something I think is like standard protocol uh, for that many people. Um, do the same thing. Seeing that better success doing that. Seems like they give a big more action. Uh, caught bigger fish on a floating worm. Yeah, I feel like I've probably caught them bigger on a floating worm too. Um, dude, I remember the first time like I fished a sluggo. Y'all remember those? We've talked about those dumbass things. People used to bitch about the hookup ratio on those things, but I don't feel like I ever had like a terrible time hooking fish with them. But I remember the first time I got a pack of sluggos, and I rigged it up and I threw it out there. I like started twitching it, and I remember I saw the action, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, how will a fish ever resist this? Like, it looks identical to a damn shad scurrying around." And it caught him, but it didn't catch him like I thought. Like I thought it was going to be like the cure all. Like you could just take that out and just like twitch it around, and fish would just it would just short a fish's brain out to where they were like, I have to eat this. Uh, Come to find out that wasn't the case, but they did get me excited. If I'm desperate for a bite, green pumpkin, red flake, baby brush hog. If I am desperate for a bite, desperate for a bite. I'm trying to think if I have a desperate for a bait. Probably a tube. Fishing from the back of the boat, you can catch them behind a spook on schooling fish. Sluggos also work for tire plugs. Correct. You got a low tire on the ride home on the trailer. Just get you a damn Bic pen and a sluggo. Dude, I did that shit on a job site one day. I ran over a nail, and I had one of those tire plug kits, and I just took it and smeared the damn cement on it and jammed it in there and popped it out. I don't know what happened, but like the next day, I had this like grapefruit sized tumor on my tire. Like I had to buy a new tire because from where I put that plug, it had this huge giant tumor. Not cool. Most people didn't even rig the sluggo right. Most people used a EWG. Dude, I don't even think EWGs existed when they first came out. Like I think back then we were still throwing them just on a regular worm hook, like an offset worm hook. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was even a hook for him. Because those things came out like, when did the EWG come out? Early 2000s? And the Sluggos would have been out in the 90s. Hand poured Sluggo with a red glass bead was the deal before the Cinco. It was that weightless or was that with a weight? Greetings from Switzerland. What's up, Jeremy Minton? My Sluggo 9-inch came with an 11-aught EWG. Sluggo is older than EWG. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When they first came out, there was certainly not an EWG. Like the only thing I could think of you could rig on them would be that like that old eagle claw hook that had the green pin in it. Weightless glass bead is the weight. How about that? See, I don't hear about anybody like doing cool shit like that anymore. Like I feel like all the little tweakers, the little tweaks and tips and stuff, like the most recent generation of fishermen don't do that. They don't do that kind of stuff. Maybe they do. I don't know. I just don't hear much about it. But I feel like there was a lot more little subtle stuff like that going on than back in the day. Back in the day than there are now. Does Amy work from home or does she do the business side of your business? No, I do the business side of my business. Uh, she does her t-shirt stuff here, um, but she does some homework. It all depends on what kind of babysitting we have. If she has a babysitter, typically my mom or her mom, she'll come up here and work. But she doesn't. Her mom is out of town, and my mom is sick, so we she's at home with the kids. The EWG came out in 1992. That seems early. Hell, we're talking about how old the EWG is and if the Sluggo predates it. Work blows. Let's look. How would you even find that? That's what we're talking about, Hella. What was the go like? What was the hook? Like South Jersey said, the EWG is what most people used. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't even think the EWG was around when the Sluggos first came out. Like I remember, like the only option was just like a regular offset hook. Um, like you just have to get like a 5-aught. Uh, yeah, just a regular round bend uh, offset hook, and you had to have a big one too. And they just still didn't work that good, but because I don't ever remember fishing a Sluggo. Like by the time the EWGs came out and got on the market, I think I was past the Sluggo. I think I was maybe a fluke guy at that point. Um, it was wide gap offset, but not extra wide. Hell, are we still fishing this summer? Me, you, and AJ? Is that a real thing? I got my black cup back. I think it could be a thing. Well, let me know so I can buy a damn plane ticket. The Sluggo came out early 80s and really popular in the late 80s, but in the late 90s, early 2000s, they started putting EW jigs on the 9-inch. Hook included. Interesting. That's probably what they had to do because people complained so much that they couldn't hook fish with them. They're like, we'll just give people the damn hook once the EWG came out. Y'all think the do y'all think when a bait like that comes with the hook, do you think that cheapens the product and makes you kind of your radars go up and be like, is this kind of some ShamWow shit they're trying to pull on me? I feel like it's more legit without a hook. But when they start putting the hook in with it, then it kind of makes you just feel like you're like a noob. You know what I mean? It turns it into a beginner's bag of worms then. It's like, no, dudes, I can pick my own damn hook out, thank you. Like I know what I'm doing. Definitely more legit without the hook. That's what I saw. For those that missed the earlier broadcast, I went to Academy today and they had a clearance sale, and they had like 25 little baskets of baits on clearance, and it was I think they were 25% off. The baits were marked down on the sticker, and then you take another 50% off of that, and there were say 25 baskets. 20 of the baskets were all Guggen stuff, tons, and then the other half was like a mixture of River to Sea, Lunker Hunt, and whatever other bullshit that's out there that they bought too much of. Um, but what I was going to say is that I also saw a lot. Like I went in Field and Stream, which is like a Dick's Sporting Goods subsidiary. I went in there, and then I went in Academy, and they all had these like kits with like a 3-pack of something, or like a spring cranking kit where it's like 4 crawfish crankbaits, and it's like all this like, dude, I don't think people are buying those stupid ass kits. I don't know. See, Bob, that makes sense though, because like that's like real shit. You know what I mean? It's not like 3 really shitty crankbaits. Like you can just go pick out normal crankbaits. Yeah, I don't think I think that's what I'm trying to get at, Jeremy, is that Later Burns, is that it is all noob stuff, but the thing about it is that I don't think the noobs are responding to it. Was the Hack Attack Select swim jig? Was that the Hack Attack Select swim jig? Was that the Hack Attack Select swim jig Was that the Hack Attack Select Swim Jig? You mean that one? Yes, it was. That is the Hack Attack Select Swim Jig. I started getting excited. When I saw the, for those that are showing up. So I was looking through all this Guggen shit, and I was like, this is lame, this is lame, this is lame. And I found one box on the corner, and it had one of these in it. It was a 1/4 ounce. But they were $3.97, and I was like, I'm not paying. Like, I'll grab a few of them for $4, but I'm not gonna like clean them out. And then I walked by the end cap, and it said take an additional 50% off. Like, that changes things. So I started going through that basket, and I started looking in the bottom, and it looked like they had like went through the racks and went and cleaned all of them off, and they were all in the bottom of the basket. So I just took the basket and went over there in like the corner and just started flipping them out, and ended up getting what I needed. But I should have. But it was there was a lots other. I would have probably gotten more Guggen baits than I wanted. Jeremy, I'm not like mad at the Guggen plastics like anybody. Like, you know, a lot of people have like anger towards the Guggen squad. They're a soft plastic just like anything else. Does their worm catch them better than an old monster? No. Does their, you know, pitching bait catch them better than whatever Strike King bait? No. Like, they don't take the place of anything for me. Like, they don't do anything better than what's already on the market. So I don't really have a need for them. But like, when people say they suck, like, they certainly don't suck. They might be priced a little high. Um, but you know, I'm not mad at the Guggen squad for printing printing fucking money. And I feel like the joke is on all the buyers, because every tackle store on the planet got heavy on that shit, and now they're just sitting on it. Like, lots of it. Every tackle store you go in, Guggen sale. They bought so much of that damn shit thinking that it was just gonna, like, you know, sell. I mean, I'm sure it did initially. When that shit first came out, I'm sure those little dorks bought, you know, all they could damn stand. But it didn't last long, obviously. It didn't last what anybody predicted it to in the purchaser department, apparently. Um, but the good thing about it, um, no, there's not. I mean, they don't. To me, every bait that they've got doesn't do anything that something already doesn't do. So I don't, you know. Some people say they tear up real easy. I don't know. Never fished them, but uh, like I said, at this point, I'm pretty set in my ways of what I fish and what catches fish, and unless you can come up with a better mousetrap that will like certainly replace something I use. Like, if you can give me an ultra vibe speed crawl that out ultra vibes a speed crawl, sure, I'll be interested in it, but I don't think that's happening. You know, you might not be able to out ultra vibe one, but you may be able to add a feature that would make it a little more appealing. I don't know how you do that, but say you did, you know, I would certainly be interested in it. Um, like I'm not opposed to new stuff. I just it just needs to make sense. When did Smallmouth Crush turn into a Guggen reject? I turned it on last night and there was some teenage kayakers screaming over 5 pound largemouth. Uh, looks like he had the cast of Jersey Shore on last night. Yeah, I didn't watch much. I was doing other shit, but the soft body swim bait's pretty legit. I think I'm going to box up a bunch of my surplus tackle and take it to the fishing garage sale deal on Saturday. Hell, y'all have one of those, dude? I've been wanting to start one of those around here. But the problem is if I facilitated it, I would make everybody show up early, and then I would just go around and cherry pick all the good shit. It would be very selfish for me to want to do this, but that's pretty much how it would go. Like, all right, everybody, we're gonna open at 9, but everybody needs to be here at 8. We're gonna do a little early bird swap meet. I'll be like, oh, and then I'd just go through and be like, how much for this? Clean out all the good shit, and then be like, all right, open for business. Get what you want. Like, TK, what are you selling? I'm not selling anything. I just tricked you guys to coming in here and sell all y'all shit. But I think it would be fun because you'd get some. I don't know. You get some storytellers up there, and you know, it would evoke a lot of memories and experiences that people have. And I think it would be fun, just like listening to guys tell stories about baits and like fish they caught on them, and like discontinued stuff that was real good, and stuff like that. I think it'd be a blast. Um, oh, here we go, AJ. The missile crawl, the missile crawl father fits in the speed crawl category and does things the speed crawl can't. Yes, it does. It can't stay on the hook. That's one thing it certainly does better than a speed crawl. What else does it do? That was a very strange stream. I'll have to go back and watch it. I'll have to go back and watch. I caught bits and pieces, but nothing that I could. I caught the end. Uh, I caught the end when the Uncle Larry guys had dipped out. Jeremy, y'all have swap meets all winter long? How many people typically show up at one of these events? Hella, fourth annual Prior Lake Hook Setters event at Prior Lake VFW. Hella, how many people do y'all have show up? And does good stuff show up? And Jeremy, how many people come to your events? AJ, all I know is I went and pitched that damn thing around last year, and I feel like every time I pitched it into a damn duck blind, I'd pull it out and my hook be hanging out, and it really started pissing me off. I've only attended twice, probably 15 to 20 tables. That's pretty good. Um, Travis painted his house in the background most of the stream. That's pretty funny. I wonder if those kids just graduated or what, but I don't really get the whole shouting and yelling. They're following in Ike's footstep, bro. You're supposed to feed off their energy. Some Iaconelli marketing there. I scooped up some OG 1- spades. That's good. You're going to take all your River to Sea Rovers? Hawk those to some kids? Watching people yell makes me tired. Yeah, it makes me anxious and tense when people start yelling like on TV. It just like my whole body gets tense, and then I get angry. Especially when like shit's chill and you're watching somebody fish or something, and then the like volume is set on your computer. I mean, on your TV or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, 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 and they like blast your eardrums. You're like, fucking dick. Sean, you're short enough to pass as a child. Sean, are you that short? Uh, bin of soft plastics and just give every kid that walks by a bag of baits. Oh. Here, kid, want some worms? Are they Guggen? No. Eat a dick, hella. Okay. Well, give them to somebody else. Are they Megabass? No. Suck it, hella. Here, kid, want some worms? Are they Bandito bugs? No. Take a hike, hella. I know plenty of guys like that. It's just not. It's just how they act. 5'10", taller than 40% of the rest of people. That's what I'm saying. Sean doesn't strike me as a little guy. But I guess compared to the giants in the stream, uh, AJ, Hella, everybody else, it's like 6'4". I bet your bass waters aren't too pressure. At least it's a beautiful state for sure. Sean, did Hella send you some bass tricks, or did you win a contest, or did you just send it for the? Sean is giant in Asia. Is that true, Sean? When I went to the Great Wall, I did have people wanting to take pictures with me, so for no apparent reason other than I was a tall Caucasian American dude. It's pretty funny. And the tour guide was like, "Listen," he's like, "this is like a pilgrimage for some people." He's like, in China, he's like, a lot of people here have never like seen an American, or like, you know, they live out in the middle of nowhere and they come here to like see the Great Wall and like see and use, like they've only seen people like you on TV. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I was flattered. I'm sure I'm on a billboard somewhere getting used as like advertising from all the pictures I took. It was pretty fun though, because you kind of felt like a little mini celebrity when you're walking around and they'd be like, "Oh, picture, picture." Sure, sure, sure. Chris, I am looking forward to the elites in 2 days. MLF, even though it's 5 fish, still don't care. I just don't like. I just don't like MLF. I don't. I guess I don't like MLF because I knew they were full of shit, and now it's proven that they are indeed full of shit. Oh, this is the best format. This is what the people want. This is what all the anglers want. This is the format of the future. This is the greatest thing to happen in bass fishing ever. Our viewership is through the roof. We have better numbers than anybody else. This is the deal. When in fact, you are full of shit and it's not the deal. The anglers don't like it. People don't like it. It sucks. You just proved it. You just proved that you told us a bald faced lie. Jeremy, I did see that. That was a. I kept watching him drive his boat, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're like driving weird. Wheeler liked it. Yeah, Wheeler liked it all the way to the damn bank after he spanked everybody's ass. Him and Connell. Yeah, they love it. We need to establish live fishing in the off season. Combine the two, and let's see who is the king. That would be fun. I was really disappointed in the team format that MLF tried. That could have been really cool, but the fact that they like I wanted it to be like a real team format. You know what I mean? Like I wanted them to be on the same boat, not three people, just two, and let them pick. You know what I mean? Like let the anglers pick their team partner. I guess that would have been sucky if you didn't get chosen and you had to like get given a partner. But like Connell and Wheeler, that would have been a badass team. Uh, Andy Morgan and who would he have fished with? Or like Thrift and Andy Montgomery. That'd have been the shit. Um, I say take the top 10 in points from each and let them go head to head. Yeah. In a perfect world, that would be awesome. I don't know that it would really prove anything, but it would just be fun to see. Because most of those guys have already fished against each other. Um, but it would be fun to. It would create a good hype. You know, East versus West. Travis, I saw him post that he was fishing the MLF event this week. And I guess he's fishing the opens. Trying to do both. I don't know. Did he have to pick? Yeah, it seemed like he was doing both. One, two, three, four, five. Damn, these are confusing. These are confusing me. He qualified for the elites. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, he did through the opens, didn't he? So what? Well, how's he going to do that? If he bombs the next 2 days, he will jump to Okeechobee. It's pretty cool. I miss those days. Like in the back in the day, you'd see later. You'd see Hackney. You'd just be watching a random FLW tour event, and then all of a sudden, like Hackney'd show up, or Van Dam. It's like, what are y'all doing there? Where'd y'all come from? That would always make it a little interesting. Y'all see a Stray Cast with Ish, him saying he might just stay in the opens. It works out great for him. You mean just fish the opens instead of the elites, even if he qualifies? Yeah, I don't get the ballistic boats thing with Livesey. Great for Phoenix though. Livesey gets to run a Phoenix, and they didn't even have to do anything except build boats. What does a fishing license cost in state here? $20. I don't even think it's 20. It might be like 12. It used to be 12, literally, for a freshwater license. But you start getting into combo, freshwater, saltwater, that kind of stuff. It gets up there. But just a freshwater license isn't that much. I think it's around $20. $40? Wow. It probably helps keep our prices down because we do have salt. We do have salt going for us. I'll buy the 5-year hunt and fish combo. My dad always threatened getting me the lifetime fishing license, but that never happened. That was the deal back in the day. It would be nice to have had a lifetime so I wouldn't have to worry about buying one every year because I literally always forget until I'm like going fishing in September when they expire or August. And I'm fishing with somebody and they're like, "Did you get your fishing license?" I'm like, "No." My dad got my lifetime when I was a kid. Smart, AJ, smart. I usually pick up Iowa, Minnesota, and Missouri. Damn, AJ, you're a licensed fool. I wonder how much the pros spend in licenses a year. You think they buy like guess they would have to buy a year long because they probably don't have a short enough or a long enough, like short temporary license that makes any sense for them. So they probably just have to buy a year pass for every place they fish. I mean, if they're going to 12 states and it's like $100 for a non-resident, they probably got $1,000 in damn $1,000 in licenses. It's a lot. Kyle, I should probably still buy, like, I could probably still buy a lifetime and be all right at 40. $325 a year in Switzerland. Wowzers. You got bass in Switzerland? I'm a little flattered right now that we have a person watching dumbass me all the way in Switzerland. You've got a lifetime for Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and Florida. No Bama, bro? I feel like Alabama's out of state is expensive. Maybe not, though. I don't know. I don't know. Mine is free. It's 64 and it's a lifetime. There you go. So my dad is. My dad doesn't have to buy a license anymore. He is in the grandfather program. Dude, that's the kind of shit I really don't like doing. So I probably shouldn't bring this up, but when I was in Texas, I never got my tag swapped over because I went back and forth enough. I should have, but whatever. But I got a little fender bender like a month or two ago, and I clipped this lady's bumper. Like she stopped unexpectedly, and it was raining, and I swerved to miss her, and I clipped her bumper very softly at like 15 miles an hour. Anyway, cop shows up. He's like, your tag's expired. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. He said, it's 3 years expired. And I looked at the lady's tag. I was like, oh, I thought it was fine. And he's like, no, it's not fine. And he's like, I was like, well, her tag's yellow. Like her sticker's yellow. Mine's yellow. I just thought it was the same. He's like, it would have been in 2019. I was like, he's like, it's come back around to the same color. That's how long it's been since you got your. He's like, I should give you a ticket for damn 4 years of expired tickets. I was like, my bad. Whoops. I always forget shit like that. It's a racket anyway. It is a racket. But I think that was a big stink. Off subject, but I want a live stream about tools someday. What kind of tools? fishing tools? Yes, if you would like, if you have live stream request topics, blast me with them. Let me know what they are. We have bass in the south of Switzerland, where they speak Italian, but where I live in North Switzerland, it's mainly lake trout, pike, and whitefish. Do you ever travel south, Jeremy, to South Switzerland to bass fish, or do you mainly stay where you're at? How long would it take you to drive to the south of Switzerland to bass land? Where's all my boards? Oh. Alabama out of state is 55. That's not bad at all. I thought it was more than that. A stream with Eric on baits that got ruined or changed from the originals or discontinued and brought back that aren't the same. Well, that's pretty much all of them. Has anything got brought back a second time that people were like, they made it better? I don't know that that's ever been done. Can you think of one? Can anybody think of a bait that got discontinued and brought back that was better the second time? Jeremy does go to Bass Land. That's good. I guess that's what brings you here. 2.5 hours or 2 hours? That's not bad. What's a good title for a fantasy fishing elite preview live stream with Panger tomorrow night? I don't know. Hell, I'm not good with titles. I have to think too much. I have to think a lot. A good title. My thumbnails. The ones that don't exist that YouTube provides me. I'll probably at some point, Hella, I will go back and create thumbnails for all like 300 of my live streams. I was looking at that not too long ago. Like, oh, I should just make thumbnails for these. But my titles are literally have zero thought into them. They're like, it pops up and I just type something and that's it, just to like get going. What are you doing? Your Fantasy Fishing Elite Preview. Oh no, dude. With hanger. Close-up high-quality bait photos on simple backgrounds to pretty well as thumbnails. Well, I have probably 10,000 of those on my phone, so I should just go through and just add baits, just random baits to all of my thumbnails. Is that what you're telling me, Hella? Would I need to add text or just the picture? The funny thing is when I usually title something, I've seen some of the times I'll title a video and then never get to actually talk about what I titled the video. Not on purpose, but like you just get going and you start talking to folks and you get off track and you never make it back around. I'm starting like drain the lake more, get one angler to pick throughout the year. Yeah, I think they're one of the few brands where they re-release something. JP Harrell, what did he say? The bling seems the same to me. Yeah, I don't know that Jackal counts because it is by design to specifically discontinue stuff to create more demand. Later, hell. So, like nothing. I don't feel like nothing ever happens with their products. Like all their molds and all their stuff is sitting there waiting to be built again. You know what I mean? Like nothing's actually changing. They might just see a little sale dip or something. And like, oh, we'll just wait. We'll just discontinue this. Make people mad. Like me, like a dummy. I know all these guys out in California that were obsessed with the not just California, but lots of places. They were obsessed with the MC60 MR. And Jackal discontinued them. And I was at Mark's Outdoors, and Mark's Outdoors had a bargain bin that had a lot of them in there, a lot. And some of them were SRs, some of them were MRs, but I ended up buying like 30 and putting them on eBay because people were freaking out about it. Well, then I decided, I don't know, just like shit got in the way, life, and I like kind of forgot about the Jackals and didn't do anything with them. They just sat there on the wall. Well, hell, the next thing I know, they're back out. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, hell, I got all these damn Jackals that people don't even care about anymore because they've re-released them and their colors are better. because they took one of mine. Dicks. Dicks. Damn, this little goober in the bottom of this thing is really pissing me off. Same with Rattle Trap lipless baits. They changed the plastic. Should have got Ask of 50s. Yeah, no shit. I will say the MC60MR is a badass bait. I just needed them to re-release it shittier, but I don't think that happened. Unfortunately, they just re-released it exactly the same. But there might be some people that tell you that it's different. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't own the new one. I own only the old ones. I guess it never hurts to have the original. You know what I mean? Because there's probably always somebody willing to want the originals. The Askas were good baits. Why they got rid of those, don't know. The old rattle traps definitely work better. I've noticed that. What did they go to? Like an ABS style plastic? No more butyrate? Or whatever their plastic they used was? But I will say, the good thing about if you like old rattle traps, everybody on the planet owns one, more than one. And they made them the same way for a long ass time. So there is millions and millions of original good rattle traps floating around out there in the world. So if you want them, they're certainly out there. And like if you go to a garage sale or anything like that, like if you go one of these bait swaps or whatever, and you want original rattle traps, there will be no shortage, and you won't, it won't be hard to get. So that's the only saving grace, is that they produce so many of them. I think that's what I've seen happen with the. I think that's what I've seen happen with the Bagley market. So back in the day, with collectors and like Bagleys, and pretty much a lot of collector baits to begin with, anything people are collecting, you see. You see prices go down for stuff. Like right now, it's a really good buyer's market if you like Bagleys, but not a good seller's market for the like rarer colors and stuff like that. And what I think you see is that the internet has proven that back before the internet, when people would go to like collector lure get-togethers, like they had that one up in Tennessee not too long ago, or guys would just get together in person and trade baits. That drove a lot of prices up, because if you saw something weird, you would typically only see it there, or you would see it in like a magazine or like a book, or like on a fishing forum or something really specific. So you didn't really know what was out there. But the way the internet is now, I think people are realizing that that the shit they thought was rare, there's a lot more out there than they actually thought. Because people who don't know anything, you know, show up on a Bagley group and they're like, "Oh, I found Bagleys in my dad's tackle box. Are these any good?" And it's like a bunch of rare shit. And they're like, "Dude, these things are coming out of the damn woodworks." They're rich, and I think that's what's happening to a lot of the collector stuff is they're finding out that a lot more exists than what was previously thought. Uh, until Epic Eric says the old rattle traps are the best, then you see people overprice the old rattle traps. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Oh, I haven't thrown. I couldn't tell you the last time I threw an actual original rattle trap. It's been many moons. Many moons. Like probably no, it actually hasn't been that many moons. It's actually probably been like one moon. I threw one I bought not too long ago, a quarter ounce in this real weird color. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing about old rattle traps is that they literally have made every color you could ever imagine. Them Bandit and Norman wiped out colors. Like they just they did them. Uh, thanks, Jeremy. Uh, have a good evening. Work and other adult shit. Well, it's good to know you can tune in from Switzerland in the middle of the afternoon and it's like your nighttime. Uh, dude, this bait that I'm about to drop on y'all's ass from Bernsey is the titties. It is the titties. I like to foil my beat up rattle traps. I've never tried that, but it's probably I should take all my chrome rattle traps and just put a little bit of clear coat on them just to protect it because that shit flakes off pretty easy. I really don't like. I know. Chrome blue is probably accounted for more lipless crankbait fish, but I don't like chrome blue. It's too boring. Uh, I don't know, Chris. Those are Eric's. Whatever he wants, and he won't tell me. All he told me was uh, what Rusty Musty crawl. The same crawl, always painting that damn school bus yellow with the copper shoulder and the orange and black back. Rusty Musty. PB came on a chrome blue trap. Original rattle trap? Easily, I will stand strong. I'm kind of teetering towards the haymaker if I can find some. I'm not. I'm thinking the haymaker is going to make a lot of sense for me, but don't have any yet, so I'll have to wait. I just did a bluegill style foil, not the prettiest, but it'll catch them. There you go. Beat up chromebait looks baits work for sure. I like the Berkeley Frenzy Reeler and the Prime Thread Fin. I know a lot of guys like that Frenzy series. It didn't last either. Is there any hard bait that Berkeley has made over the last like 25 years that's actually stood the test of time and like still around? I mean, for the most part, like Strike King still makes like most of their old stuff for the most part. Colors have changed, but the bodies are still the same. Which I guess they got rid of but like the Red Eye, it's been out for 20 years. Before that, it was the Diamond Shad. But they go long stretches with like one bait before it's time to replace it. I don't feel like Berkeley goes that long. Maybe they do. Maybe they have like a 10-year plan for bait, like they're going to run a bait for 10 years and then try something new. I don't know. I don't know the answer. The Flicker Shad. I saw some yesterday at BPS that you can inject scent into. That doesn't sound gimmicky. I feel like that's been done a couple of times though by other companies, like Scent Trail hard baits. Who wants to bait fuel enema? Like, who really wants to do that? You know what I mean? Like after 10 casts, to be like, oh, let me give my crankbait an enema with some bait fuel. It's not leaving a bait trail. It's not leaving a juice trail. I haven't tried bait fuel. I didn't try Real Crawl. I didn't try JJ's Magic. I didn't try anything. Bang. I always thought scents were dumb because you can never prove that they work. You know what I mean? Because like it's really smart longevity. Like it's smart marketing, but I don't think the longevity is ever there. It's like a short little money grab. But because if I give you a 6-inch lizard with no scent, you're going to go catch them on it. If you go out there and you spray some shit on it, you're still going to catch them on it, but you can't prove that it was because of the scent. You know what I mean? Like, somebody help me out with this. How can you prove scent works? If I'm a scent atheist, Prove to me scent is real. Like, I don't think it hurts. Like, if you put a little jism on your worm, but NetBait is discontinuing everything to put out the bait fuel infused versions. How stupid. And you know what's going to be the difference? Nothing. You know what that's from, AJ? You get nothing. This is weird. Oh, bang. I went down the dam at the lake with a spinnerbait, came back up with a different color, then sprayed bang on the spinnerbait I started with and began to catch their ass. So you went down with one spinnerbait, nothing, came back with a spinnerbait of a different color and nothing, made a third pass with just a little sprayed on juice, and you ended up catching them, is what you're telling me. Maybe the fish just needed to see the bait a few times. God, that is gross. The nori scent, though, did seem to attract bass to the bait quicker, as if it made them get more interested than my other baits that didn't use the scent. I have heard dudes use WD-40 and claim that that shit works. And if WD-40 works, then one thing they say for certain doesn't work is DEET in bug spray. So if you spray your bait with bug spray that's got DEET in it, I think it has been proven that a fish is completely repelled by it. Well, Travis, if you don't, you don't think that fish need to see something more than once in order to bite it? I saw that 2 days ago. My buddy threw at a damn tree 4 times, and then I got to it, and I threw by it. And I would have been the 5th cast on that tree, and I got the bite. You think it was my bait? Or do you think it was the fish needed repetitive casts in order to get fired up? I think it's multiple times seeing a bait. A lot of times. I would think it would be the fish seeing a bait more times to get it fired up than it would be some miracle jism. But I just don't want to believe that scent does anything. Because I'm lazy and I don't want it to squirt my baits with shit. 30 minutes, yeah, that's true. I mean, if it took you a while to get down the bank, I really don't think it was. I think they just something changed. Maybe your boat going through stirred up some shit. I could believe that more than I could believe scent worked. I bet your boat trolling through there stirred up some algae that got some minnows scurrying around, and the bait was under your boat, and you got them scurrying around and pushed them up towards the dam, and then you started catching them because you got them all excited with your boat moving around. That's what I'm. That's what I'm. That's what I'm buying. All nonsense, including bait fuel. Used it all summer. Only thing I've seen a difference with is Max scent. Yeah, I have heard. Uh, Jimmy Etter was telling me a story about Max scent at Gunnersville, and he said he went down a bank flipping with normal stuff, and they went back through there, and his brother was like digging around for something else to throw, and he found some Max scent like beaver type something, and he said they went from catching nothing to his brother just like hammering fish, like 4 pounders off the back of the boat, and he asked him, he was like, "What is that? Like, what are you throwing?" And he's like, "It's Max scent, dude." And he said that was all they bite. Does it work on soft plastics? No, it doesn't work on soft plastics, dude. There's literally 50,000 different smelly soft plastics out there. Like half of my shit smells like mold because it's been sitting in my boat for damn 10 years. Not to mention all the different shit that's on people's hands and all that kind of shit when they like go fishing. Like everything smells different. Every worm smells different. Like I don't think there's anything that they like over something else. I mean, you got dudes spraying WD-40 on shit that think it's like awesome. I think if scent mattered, nobody would ever catch anything. We would all be sitting around with our thumbs up our ass because there's no telling what kind of like when I go fishing, what kind of brake cleaners on my hands or like chicken grease or Dorito fingers or you know outboard oil, gasoline, mold, mildew. Do you even know if a bass hunts by smell? Yeah, I don't know how much they can smell until they get it in their mouth. But I know the lateral line is king, and I don't know how good they smell with their lateral line. Fish can smell balsa. The other thing is if a fish can smell, a damn bull shad would never get a bite. You would never catch a fish on a bull shad because it smells like a damn petroleum factory. Like those are the stinkiest damn baits you will ever find. And they eat the shit out of them. can smell amino acids. So if you put more aminos in your fuel, is that what's in bait fuel? Is it an amino acid juiced flavor? Smell is a big deal. I'll never believe. I'm not a believer. I don't care what Berkeley says. The only thing I do believe is I believe the DEET thing, that there's something in DEET that repels them. But I guess if I believe that, I would have to believe that scent worked. But you can't prove it, dude. You can't prove it. You might be able to do something with smallmouth for whatever reason. You know, a Max Scent worm works better than a damn Zoom trick worm. But besides, like, they may hunt by sight and vibration, but they sure do spit lures out fast. I don't think that has anything to do with flavor. If you've ever seen any kind of footage of a fish eating anything, like in like an aquarium or in tanks or in lakes, dude, they'll eat something 10 times before they damn swallow it. I don't think they taste shit and they're like, ew, yucky. Bye bye. I think that's just how they eat. I don't know. You triggered Travis. He's a scent guy. Travis is fuming mad, laying on his waterbed full of bang and bait fuel, sloshing around, going, "You son of a bitch!" Yeah, Marty, I feel like anytime I've ever Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire on the worms, and I bet you'll have the same success you did with bait fuel. Then I'll eat the worms. Like they said, scientists train bass to see what color they see better. How in the hell do you train a fish? I mean, I feel like you could train them to do, if you're training them, you can train them to do whatever you want them to, right? They were using bait scents to test the theory out that they were seeing whether or not the bass would go back to their bedding nest if the scent was blocked. I don't know. But like the like when all the scent craze started with taku up there smallmouth fishing. So if you put like the Johnson brothers up and you put them on all of Taku's schools and they're not using his scent, do they still lose? If you reverse those schools, if you give the Johnsons Taku's fish and Taku their fish, and they're not using Taku fuel, does Taku still win because of his scent? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Travis, now you're being bitchy. Never, but I have a damn brain that knows a fish is a fish. The name of the video so everyone can educate them. There was an actual study on this. God, y'all are. We got the damn scientific evidence. Sense in the rattles, you got to. Y'all really think this shit works, don't you? Casey, you put scent on crankbaits? Travis, what do you think though? Do you think that if Taku fish the Johnston's holes, that he could have still won with that his scent would have made a difference on their fish? That he would have caught a bigger class of fish that they seemingly could not catch with Taku juice. Maybe maybe so. I definitely believe that it does make a difference with smallmouth. Um, but because also on smallmouth, you're sitting there in front of their face. You know what I mean? There's a lot there. There's way more time for scent to dissipate in front of a fish that they might pick up. But like largemouth fishing, I don't. I mean, if you're if you're sitting there flipping under a mat and you're like letting it soak for like 60 seconds and you need to like scent to disperse, maybe. But like scenting up something that's like running by them, maybe. I don't know. Corey did an interview and he knew where Taku was fishing and he couldn't get those fish to bite. So Taku was able to get the uncatchable fish to be catchable. Let me turn it off, AJ. I mean, I think that should. I would like to hear somebody that's like an expert on, you know, shit like that. Not like a fisherman, not like somebody that's trying to sell something. Or I guess you really need Corey and you need Taku, and let them go back. I think it's a small thing to say sick doesn't work. I mean, it's only the parts of the animal kingdom. Sure it does, but we're talking about throwing metal shit that's made out of like petroleum products into a natural environment that make noise that is completely unnatural. Like everything about a fishing lure is unnatural. Right? I mean, the fact that you can even get a bite on a damn plastic crankbait is a miracle. I mean, I think there's certainly places like I'm not saying that bass cannot smell. They certainly can, but I don't think it has any grounds to stand on for whether a fish bites a 5-armed A-rig that's like a hunk of metal with a bunch of petroleum worms swimming off the back of it. Because I mean, how do they manufacture all this shit? Like silicone skirt, those things stink. Like there's no telling what it smells like underwater, like to a fish when all that like all the oil and shit from a hook's coming off and blades and gummy eyeballs, paint, clear coat, all that kind of stuff. Why do they eat garlic scented shit? Because it wasn't onion flavored. Scent was proven to be more important than sight and Earth's magnetism in that study by 60%. Every coyote should be able to smell the trap their foot is about to go into. Yes, but they're fucking stupid. They don't have brains that process that, dude. Like, oh, this is metal. This is not real, but fuck it. But if a coyote doesn't have a lateral line, they feed by their nose. Like they don't sense a fit like something walking beside them because they get some like quiver in their back that says, "Ooh, there's something there." They feed with their nose. Can't compare how a coyote eats to how a bass eats. Jelly worms worked and had fruit scent. Scent your shit up all you want. Bass eat anything that might be able to fit in its mouth. Pretty much. Whether it smells like shit, smells good, whether it smells like garlic bread, spaghetti, taco juice, coyote piss, whatever. Look at the record bass in California. They were mainly caught on cheese. I mean, I mean, if you're letting something sit on the bottom, I certainly think a fish will eventually find it with its sense of smell. Sure, that's possible. If you throw a damn dead shad in the water and you just let it sit there on the bottom, the fish is swimming by. He'll probably maybe get a little something. His taste buds might get a little something and go inspect it. But I mean, the way most of us fish, I don't think we let something sit there long enough to disperse scent. Get us a private stream so Marty can talk about this. But at the end of the day, how can you prove it? How many Elite Series events have been won by guys who seemingly destroyed their competition with no scent on their shit? Other than good old chemicals from the factory. Does it help? Might someday. You might find that one day that makes you a believer. Don't invite Smallmouth to private stream though. They say everything on his next stream what Marty said. What did Marty say? What is Kyle? Oh, Marty! I didn't know he was a. I didn't know Burns was a truther. As long as he doesn't believe in scent, I'm good. As long as he doesn't think scent makes a difference on a crankbait. Actually, we're going to change. My conspiracies are true. We're actually going to change Saturday's stream from Burns building a bait to scents and conspiracies. No, Kyle, I mean, the thing about it is that with all that shit, nothing surprises me anymore. So I'm kind of neutral. Like if something happens weird, be like, yeah, I could probably see that happening. And if it doesn't, figured that. There's guys that believe using those fish sticks on cranks helps. You talking about the little leather strips? Saltwater fish respond to that shit. Like speckled trout, they like that smelly stuff. And they seem to eat it when it's like it doesn't matter when they're active. Maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe it's an activity thing. Scent stick like chapstick. You rub it on butts. I don't know. How does a fish smell? Is it through their scales or their slime? Through their gills? Otter tails. It's like pork chunks, but super thin. South Jersey, never heard of them. Never heard of them. $2:30, 5 o'clock. All right, I got to get out of here. I guess to wrap this up, the moral of my story is I think if scents mattered, we would never ever catch a bass. Ever. Because you know what we're throwing smells like doo-doo. Putting lipstick on my crankbaits. All right, dudes. Thanks for sticking around for the great smelly debate of 2023. I don't know that we got anywhere. Nobody has convinced me yet that I'll catch more and bigger bass if I scent up my baits. Burns, yeah, I'm about to go paint it. South Jersey, maybe I'll rename this video Scents or Bullshit. Listen to us talk about it for an hour. Need some pheromones. I'll tell y'all one thing. When I was in middle school, best day I ever had, caught my PB, had about 27 pounds. And this for Christmas that year, I got Polo Sport cologne, and I was putting it on everything because all the girlies like the way it smelled. And I took it down, and I always had it on me because I always wanted to smell like Polo Sport, and I had it on me. And I took my Terminator spinnerbait, and I sprayed Polo Sport on it. Caught 27 pounds, had an 8-pound kicker that day. Tell me that shit don't work. Polo Sport. It is the juice. If you don't, and if they don't bite that, CK1. Redfish are the dumbest fish swimming. They hunt by eating anything in front of them. Yeah, I don't know what I think the moral of the story really is if you're going to let something sit on the bottom for long enough for scent to disperse and a fish to come up and find it and inspect it, or there be like a scent trail, it probably matters. So if you're drop shotting for a fish and your bait's just sitting down there and there's a current and a scent trail coming off of it, and you need that, and you're sitting there just shaking it, waiting for a fish to swim up to it, that probably helps. But something just like buzzing by, um, put it on my buzz baits. That's what I've been doing. That's the next Patreon. I'll go ahead and spill the beans, guys. So y'all know how it's been real trendy to put no skirt on a buzz bait, and you just run like a toad. Here's what I've been doing, and I've been really catching big bass and lots of them. What I do is I take the whole container of bait fuel, take the skirt off my buzzer, and I typically like a 1-ounce buzz bait for this, and I take it and I turn the bait fuel like this, and I take my hook and I thread the jar on, and then I open the lid, and when I run my buzz bait, it's got a little piss trail that comes out the back, and the buzz bait and the bait fuel bottle really gets them excited, and they see the scent and they smell it and they come out. Tell you what, best day I ever had doing that. Got my PB. So try that. If you're ever having a tough time getting them to suck down your buzz bait, just tie the whole damn bottle on. Pop the lid. Got you a little exhaust, a little vapor trail coming out the ass. Shit, you won't never go back to a skirt. Or you could dye it too. Yeah, it's good thought, AJ. Squid ink. It's got a lot of flavor. The whole smelly jelly bottle. It's endless, guys. Whatever you want to do. Hell, one time I ran out of bait fuel, and I took one of those Kraft Parmesan cheese bottles, and I ran it on my damn buzz bait, and I threw it out there, and they weren't eating it real good with the 3 holes in the lid, the sprinkle holes. They were missing it, but then I turned it over and I flipped up the big boy, the dump truck lid, where you get all the Parmesan. When I flipped that one up, shit, get your damn arm broke. About 29 pounds. I'm a 9-pound kicker. Kraft Parmesan cheese on a buzzbait. Tell you what. Sorry, I have given away too much. I have given away too much secrets. South Jersey's coming clean now. He rigs a whole banana on his bait. This is the juice. If you've made it this long, I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. I hope you come and join the Patreon to where it gets even juicier. If you thought this was good, just wait. Put the easy cheese bottle on a buzzbait. That takes some rigging though, Kyle. That takes a special rig because you got to run a leader wire from your line tie around the nozzle on the back. So when you pop it, it pulls the nozzle and goes, and it shoots cheese out into the air, into the bubble trail. I'm letting all the boss's secrets out mixed with scent conspiracy. Marty, maybe we should put some scent in your clear coat. Would that work? Kraft cheese, South Jersey. Yes, I believe they are. I think they're called Whopper Ploppers. I just got 17 new subscribers on Patreon because of the juice I just gave up. A wire bladed one? They used to have those double blades with the floaties on them. But I don't know that I've seen a single blade floater. I don't know that I've seen that. One thing I think we have learned is that you are either a scent guy to the core or you are the anti-scent guy to the core. It doesn't seem like a lot of, I kind of use it. You either love it or you don't. AJ, you're in between. That means you don't believe. You're just in denial. I wanted to hear both sides. So what do you think now, AJ? Did anybody sell you? Or are you more confused than ever since we had a fence rider? Does a fish know what human sin is? Tyler, can you answer that honestly with a straight face? Like a deer knows what human sin is. Because their number one sense is their nose. The ones on Toledo and Rayburn do. Dude, Tyler, that's what we need to talk about. Is that damn didn't Rayburn put out some damn Giants recently? Everybody's talking about how shitty it is. Well, Faircloth talking about how shitty it is, and then somebody dumped a damn gigantic bag. Toledo. A Burns buzzer. Hold on. $40 with a 13-pound kicker, then followed up with a 42-pound bag Sunday with an 11-pound kicker. So what's going on with that? What do their baits smell like, South Jersey? £40 with a 13-pound kicker and then 42 pounds. How is that possible? on a lake that's seemingly in a shit cycle, dropped 40 and 42. That sounds pretty healthy. It'd be different if it was once, but twice. Cody Pitt, old school deep structure guy. Tater Reynolds and Cole Moore also splitting out big bags, but are scopers. Yeah, the cycle has apparently turned. Maybe they just figured out the scope thing. That's what it sounds like. Here's the wife. Let's see what she's doing. Hello. Hi. Okay.
What are you doing right now?
Later, dudes. What is she doing?